Hey guys, so here I am at House of the Dancing Monkey, which is, anyway, we'll get into that some other time. But I don't do a lot of these videos. This is actually kind of the first one, and also trying out a new camera. And I wanted to show you something that is just kind of a fun little project. Sometimes when you're sitting at the craft fair or whatever, you want something simple that somebody can buy for $1, just to get them interested in sitting around. The other thing is I actually like to use these in another way, and we'll get into that. So what I'm talking about are little stones. Okay, so these are little slate chips. You can see that there. There you go. So these are little slate chips, and the way you buy these is you go to like an Earl May or another garden center type of a place, and you'll get a big bag like this that is heavy, okay? Ridiculously heavy. And you'll end up with a lot of odd shapes in there. Get him to stand up. A big thing, like grab some here. When you pull these out of there, they are going to be just absolutely filthy. I mean, actually, you can see that on my hands there. And that's, they've been rattling around on the back of a semi truck, waiting to be delivered to your local Earl May. And that's how they end up. Slate, one of the reasons that it laser engraves well is because it's a fairly soft stone. So, but once you clean them up, I take them under the sink, and just with a brush, you end up with a nice little piece of slate. Now, there are irregularities on here, so you're not going to be doing fine images or a photo on there. But what you can do on them are these little, things like this, where you've got just some lettering or something. Now, like I said, you can do a bunch of these. They're really quick to do. I'm using a 20-watt Xtool D1 Pro, and my settings on there, I do 50 millimeters a second. 50 millimeters a second at 30% power, and do little text. So they're pretty quick to whip out. I haven't really been selling these. What I like to do with them is, stick a few in my pocket as I'm going about my day. If there's a suitable place, I'll just leave one there. And, it's just kind of a fun thing, and it's going to make somebody smile. The painted rock craze that you see everybody do. This is kind of the similar to that, but with lasers. So to give you a couple examples, these surfaces are irregular, and so they aren't perfectly flat or almost perfectly flat like you're going to get when you buy, say, slate coasters. But they work well enough, and you can see that it looks pretty good. You can still read it and everything. So you're going to kind of focus for the middle ground there. You can, now this is just plain. This is just, I wiped it off. I didn't even take this into the sink, actually. I just wiped this one with a damp cloth. And so that one's done plain. Now, if you want a little bit bolder, this one was done plain and then has a clear lacquer on it. Just some of the good old clear lacquer put on it before I engraved it, okay? Now, there's a lot of irregular pieces on there, so you can see this kind of chunky guy. You can still do these. So it does have one flat surface here. And this one I decided to be fun. I tried 3 passes just to see if I could get kind of a different look. And it does look different. It's not worth the time. But anyway, so how do you do this? Because it's going to sit there. If we put on something flat, you can see it's going to sit pretty cockeyed. So cut yourself a couple of wedges. This is 6 millimeter stock here. Cut yourself a couple wedges, and you can just manipulate those a little bit to make that flat. We're going to change the camera angle, and I'll show you how I set that up. Okay, so here we are. Hoping this kind of works out as far as a camera angle and stuff, and you can hear me all right. So first thing I'm going to do, you can see here first, I've placed this, I've used the wedges to kind of make this a little more level. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, you're not doing really fine lines and things. I'm going to focus this guy about like there. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go over this twice, so the absolute coordinates thing, it doesn't really matter that much, okay? So I'm going to gently lift that. So we got focused. I'm going to go ahead and home my laser just so I can have an idea. Okay, so going to home. Now I'm going to frame it. It's clear up there. I'm going to move this down. Give a rough guess, about like that. Okay. Scoot them over just a little bit. Now I did pre-measure this rock to kind of see what I could get away with size-wise. And now I'm doing a square framing. Now this last one is coming off, but that last letter here is a Y, and so it actually doesn't use that bottom corner. So now we're going to see what we get away with. So we're good to go. We're going to hit start, and we're going to see how this camera reacts to a laser light. All right, there you go. So we are right here. You can see him. He looks nice, and that's going to be a nice little piece. So there you go. Nice little project you can do on your laser. They're pretty quick, inexpensive, and here's the one we just finished on there. I think it looks pretty darn good. And this one I did lacquer before I did it, and I think that might be the way I do these all in the future. It just makes it stand out a little better. You know, that one is a little bit bigger design. Still didn't take long at all, and took longer to get it placed and leveled than it did to actually engrave. If you're doing a bunch of small ones that are fairly flat, I don't even bother with those wedges, you know, and I think it's a good little quick money maker. And if nothing else, like I said, I scatter them about, might make somebody's day. So there you go, little thing on the laser for you to do, another little project, and that's a lot of fun. So until next time, be well, do good work, and I'll see you down the road.